boys and girls. My name is Mrs. M. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a pair of binoculars. Binoculars are good for looking up in the sky at planes, looking down at the ground at bugs, looking up in trees at birds, or looking in nooks and crannies for leprechauns around St. Patrick's Day. Binoculars can open your eyes and make them see things we can't see with just our regular eyes. So what you need to make binoculars is you need 2 toilet paper tubes. You need a sheet of paper. It can be wrapping paper, it can be construction paper, it can be any kind of paper. You need some scissors, you need some glue, you need some string, you need some markers, and if you have, maybe some stickers. The first thing that you need to do though is you need to protect your surface where you're working. So make sure you have a good sized piece of paper or something else that protects your workspace, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our toilet paper tube and we're going to take our piece of paper, we're going to lay our toilet paper tube on the sheet of paper, and we're going to cut our sheet of paper as long as the toilet paper tube is. So you might need a little bit of help from mom or dad with this one, but we're going to kind of just eyeball it and roll the toilet paper tube down. And as we're rolling it down, we're going to cut the paper around the same size as the toilet paper tube. Once you get that done, you're going to take your toilet paper tube and you are going to, let me open up my glue. You're going to run a bead of glue You're going to run a bead of glue down your toilet paper tube. Then you're going to take your paper and you're going to hold it on the toilet paper tube and count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to pull it nice and tight, and you're going to take another bead of glue and you're going to make a zigzaggy on your toilet paper tube. And that's just so the glue will stick all over. But notice I didn't use a whole bunch of glue because otherwise it would just be a mess. So we're going to roll it around nice and tight until it's covered. And we see it's covered. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a bead of glue down the paper. And then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to trim it. And then we're going to hold it nice and tight. And the paper will stick. So we're going to do that with both of our tubes. And when they're both covered, we're going to take a bead of glue again, and we're going to make a zigzag. And we're going to put both of our toilet paper tubes together. Once our toilet paper tubes are all together, and we're going to hold them for a few seconds and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'll stick nice and tight. And now we're going to decorate our binoculars. So you can take markers and you could draw all different kinds of designs on them. I'm going to make a smiley face. I made some triangles. I made some swirly cues. Make another swirly cue. You can make rectangles. You can make happy faces, or you could take your stickers and you could put stickers on your binoculars and make it all decorated the way you like it. Now, once your binoculars are decorated the way that you want them, the next step, you need to get mom or dad to help you. So what mom or dad are going to do is mom or dad need to poke a small hole for you to put the string in. This is for moms or dads to do, not for children to do. So a small hole is going to be poked in the side by mom or dad on each side of your binoculars. You're going to take your string and you're going to put the string in that hole. And we're going to tie a knot. The string is going to go in the hole on the other side. And we're going to make a knot on that side too. So basically what we're doing is we're kind of making the binoculars like a necklace. So we're going to trim the excess string off right by the knot so it doesn't get in our way of our vision. And now we have our binoculars. We can put the string around our neck. We can wear it like a necklace. And we can put on our binoculars and look for birds, look for bugs, and look for leprechauns. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hi, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm so happy to be part of this virtual St. Patrick's since we didn't have one last year. My name is Monica Doherty, and I'm a longtime volunteer and member of the Heritage Center and a teacher. And so I'm going to read a story today, and it's probably backwards. I don't know because I'm not a techie. But it's called Jamie O'Rourke and the Big Potato. And it's really a folk tale. And that might mean it's a tall tale. So it might not be 100% true. But the person who wrote the book and illustrated it beautifully is very famous, and you might have even seen some books by him, Tommy de Piola, who is, that's an Italian name, but he had an Irish grandfather who used to tell him this story. So he decided to retell it and draw the pictures. So it is called, as I said, Jamie O'Rourke and the Big Potato. So we shall begin. Jamie O'Rourke was the laziest man in all of Ireland. He would do anything to avoid working, and especially if it had to do with growing potatoes. So there he sits on his little bench with his shovel, which he should be using, but you can see he's not. Jamie O'Rourke, his wife Eileen would say, "We'll have nothing to eat this winter if you don't go out and dig up the praties." I think you say praties or praties, but they're potatoes. "Oh, the saints preserve us," Jamie would whine. "Me back's as sore as can be, and sure as I'm telling you, wife, you'll have to dig them up yourself. I'll break in two if I so much as get out of bed." And he does not look like he's going to get out of that bed. So Eileen, who had done all the planting and all the watering and weeding anyhow, would go out to the tiny garden and dig up the smallest potatoes in Ireland, all because Jamie was too lazy to dig a larger garden and had no money to buy better seed. So look in her basket down there. Those are pretty tiny potatoes. But it's still a lot of work nonetheless. Then poor Eileen wrenched her back and was laid up in bed. Saint Bridget and the Virgin Mary herself must have smiled on Eileen O'Rourke, said the village women. Why, it's the first rest she's gotten since she married Jamie O'Rourke. And there she is up in her bed with her wrenched out back, and there's the village ladies all smiling and happy for her because she's getting a rest. Well, with Eileen in bed, Jamie began to worry. No Eileen to dig meant no potatoes all winter, and no potatoes meant no food. "Oh, poor me," wailed Jamie. "I will starve to death. I'd best go to church and confess to Father O'Malley, because there's no telling how soon old death will be knocking on me door." So even though it was midnight, Jamie set out for the church. He was about halfway down the hill when he heard singing and a tap, tap, tapping. So there he is, out at midnight in his pajamas, on his way to see Father. "Sure, and I wouldn't be knowing," Jamie whispered, "but I swear it's a leprechaun." And sure enough, sitting in a circle of ferns in the moonlight, was a leprechaun singing and hammering tiny nails into the heels of the fairy boots he was making. Well, Jamie knew what to do. So there he comes upon a leprechaun, happy as can be, nailing his tiny nails. He crept up and he grabbed the little man by his coattails and he held firm. "Let me go! Let me go!" the leprechaun shouted. "Not on your life," said Jamie. "Not until you show me where you keep your pot of gold." So he grabbed him. Now everyone in Ireland knows that leprechauns make boots and dancing shoes for the fairies who pay them with gold. And everyone knows if you catch a leprechaun, he'll pay for his freedom with his pot of gold. But this leprechaun was cleverer than most. "Oh, please, Mr. Mortal Man," he pleaded. "I'm just starting out making fairy shoes, and I only have 1 or 2 pieces of gold in my pot. Won't you take a wish instead?" There he is, pleading. "Why, what would I wish for?" Jamie asked. "Me, who's about to die of starvation because my wife is sick in bed and can't dig the potatoes for the winter. And they're such puny potatoes anyway." "Well," said the leprechaun, reaching into his pocket, "you could wish for the biggest pratty in the world. It would last all winter, and you wouldn't have to do anything more than plant this seed, water it, and wait." So he's offering him his seed like a wish. Well, that sounded wonderful to Jamie. "Done!" he shouted. And as the leprechaun dropped the seed into Jamie's hand, Jamie let go of his coattails, and off that leprechaun scampered up the hill, glad to be away. When Eileen heard what he had done, she was furious. "Jamie O'Rourke, you're not only the laziest man in Ireland, but a fool as well. Giving up a pot of gold for a pratty seed." "Well, I'm going to plant this seed and water it, and you'll see," Jamie said. And out he went. And faith did Eileen see. In no time at all, the biggest, finest potato plant had sprouted out of the ground, followed by the potato itself. It was so big it pushed up not only all the dirt in the garden, but the garden shed and the corner of the cottage as well. "Well, surely now it's ready to dig," said Jamie proudly. And you can see part of their house is getting pushed up by that potato, that giant potato. How's he going to get it out? He hoed all around it, but he couldn't dig that pratty out of the ground. He got a beam and a big rock and tried to pry it out. He pushed and he pushed, but it wouldn't budge. So he's trying everything he can think of, digging and pushing it with a lever, which was his piece of wood. And as he was pondering what to do, his neighbor passed by on his way to the village. Couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't wait to tell everyone in the village what he had seen. And before you knew it, the hill up to Jamie's was filled with villagers coming to see that big potato. Well, why wouldn't they? "Where did it come from?" they asked. Jamie told them about the lucky night he had caught the leprechaun and how smart he had been. "Why, anyone could have gotten a pot of gold," he bragged, "but the biggest potato in the world? Well, that took some doing." "Well, however did you outsmart a leprechaun?" they all asked at once. And Jamie hesitated and scratched his head because, he really didn't know how he did it. "We'll help you dig up your pratty, Jamie, if you'll tell us how you did it." And they grabbed shovels and hoes, and they all started to dig. All the villagers. They dug, and they dug, and they pushed, and they shoved until the potato flew up out of its hole. And it rolled down the hill faster and faster and faster until it got stuck in between the rocks of the road. And now nobody could get by either way. Oh my, what are they going to do? That potato is so big that no one, no cart, nothing can get by it, the constable complained to Father O'Malley. And that's the constable, he's the police chief. What shall we do? The villagers wailed. Then they all looked at Jamie and they said, well, it's your potato. You'll have to move it out of the way. Well, Eileen spoke up, there's more than enough potato for everyone. Why don't you all take some? So the villagers sawed and they chopped and they carted off huge pieces of potato while Jamie sat on the stone wall and watched. Where is he? I can't even see. Oh, there he is. Look at him. He finds a way not to work no matter what. But all the villagers were chopping and sawing and getting big pieces of that potato. All winter long, everyone had potato to eat and eat and eat until no one wanted to see or hear of a potato again. Well, they started out kind of happy, but then as the days go on, all through that winter, people got pretty sick of potatoes. In the spring, Jamie said, I saved a potato eye for a seed, and it's just about time to plant it. Oh, no, the villagers cried. If you promise not to plant it, Jamie, we'll promise before St. Patrick and all the saints to see that you and Eileen always have plenty to cook and eat. We don't want another giant potato around here. Jamie smiled and agreed. What a perfect life for a lazy man. And so well, there they are, worried we don't want another big potato. And so you see, darling Eileen, Jamie told her, I wasn't such a fool with that leprechaun after all. And Eileen had to admit that Jamie O'Rourke was right. And look who's sitting there, the little leprechaun, and he actually did have a pot of gold. But the villagers all had this wonderful potato to have, so all's well that ends well. Anyway, that's the story for today. It was fun to do this. I hope everyone is having a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and I know better days are on the way, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
We're Irish rappers and we're here to say we just can't wait for St. Patty's Day. They'll soon be singing and dancing in music galore. Just wear a mask coming through the door. So come on down and join the crack, 'cause the IAHC will soon be back. Woohoo!
Hi, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. M. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a rainbow picture using paper, glue, Fruit Loops, or any other kind of cereal that has lots of color, and cotton balls. So the first thing you're going to do, as always, we always make sure our surface is protected. Make sure you have a piece of paper or something that will protect your work surface underneath you. We're going to start with a piece of paper. It can be any color paper. It could even be the back of a cereal box if you want. So we're going to take our glue and we're going to put some glue in the corner of the paper. And I'm going to make my glue look like a cloud that my cotton balls are going to go on top of. So as you can see, I'm using a lot of glue, but I'm not using a whole bunch of glue because I want my cotton balls to stick, but I don't want them to slide. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cotton balls and I'm going to pull them apart a little bit and make them fluffy. And then I'm going to stick them on there. So every cotton ball I pull in different directions and I make it fluffy and I stick it on. I might only need 4 or 5 cotton balls. I might need 6. I won't know until I get them all on there and get all the glue covered up. So once our cloud area is all covered, now we're going to start our rainbow. We're going to pour our cereal out onto a plate or into a bowl where we can see all of the colors. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the glue and we're going to make one long line that goes from the cloud all the way almost to the corner of the paper. And it's going to be a good bead of glue all the way down. I hope you can see that glue on the video. I think I'm going to start with green. So we're going to take all green pieces of Fruit Loops or any other color cereal you have, and we are going to go all the way down the glue. Then we're going to take another bead of glue and we're going to move it over just an inch or two, and we're going to run a bead of glue all the way down, and we're going to do another color. I think I'll do pink this time. Boys and girls, we are going to do this with all the different colors of cereal that is, and we're going to go all the way down to the edges of the paper. I am not going to continue doing this because it would take a very long time, but I will show you the finished product. It will look like this, and this is what your rainbow will look like. And if you want, you can hang it on your refrigerator, or you can have mom or dad poke some holes in it and add a yarn to it, and you can hang it on the wall. So that's your rainbow. And if you have extra Fruit Loops left over, you could take a piece of string and put a piece of tape at one end and a piece of tape at the other end. Now look at how this one's nice and skinny, and this piece of tape on this end is nice and fat, and you can string Fruit Loops and make yourself a Fruit Loop necklace, just like as if you were at the Heritage Center. I hope you all have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Have fun crafting. Bye-bye.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Jane.
And we're going to make, do you remember what these are called?
Yeah.
They're called Rainbow Shamrock Floats.
Yeah, we're making rainbow shamrock float.
Good job, buddy. So kids, you guys can do this with an adult. If you're a little bit older, you could probably make it on your own, but the steps are fairly simple and this drink is super tasty. So first things first, we're going to take some ice cubes and put them in the glasses.
Hey.
There we go. I think 3 is good in each one.
I'm I'm getting free.
And remember, always wash your hands before you start, especially if you're going to be touching stuff with your hands. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a scoop of rainbow sherbet, and you're going to put a scoop of rainbow sherbet into the cup.
Okay.
Let me know if you need help, okay? Would you like me to help you, and then you can put it in there?
It.
This is very hygienic.
It's kind of sour.
A little sour. It's made with fruit. Okay, you want to put that in here? Very good. Should we put another one in there? Can I help you a little bit? Okay. There you go. Here, let's use a straw. We'll do this. There we go.
We have rainbow straws.
We do. We're gonna leave that straw in there. All right. Would you like me to help you get the scoop up for this one? You got it? There you go. Getting a little better. There. It's easier to do this than to bang it. There you go. Good job. All right. Would you like me to help you get a real big scoop for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Again, very hygienic. Here you go, sweetie. Which again is why it's important to wash your hands before you start. And probably in between sometimes. All right, so that's that. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some of your favorite lemon lime soda. And you wanna help me pour this in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go ahead. We're gonna pour a little bit in here. We're gonna pour it about halfway. Okay. Again, pour the lemon lime soda about halfway. This one's gonna be yours, sweetie, because that's the one you touched after you licked your hands. Okay. And then what you want to take, and this we found at our local Jewel. I believe they also have it at local grocery stores. You want to take some Green River, which I believe you can only find around St. Patrick's Day, so it's the perfect time for this float. And you're going to pour the rest of the glass with the Green River. And that's what gives this the name Shamrock Rainbow, right? Is it green like a shamrock, Jake?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the rainbow part?
Sprinkles.
Oh, the sherbet. And if you're feeling crazy, you can add some sprinkles in there, or if you're wrong like my husband, you call them jimmies. All right, put a little bit of sprinkles in there. That's good. You want to put a little in the other ones? All right, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Should we give it a try, Jake?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cheers, bud. Slancha. What do you think?
It tastes like pop.
Tastes like pop. Is it good? Does it taste good? All right. Should we say thank you for joining us?
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope if you make the Shamrock Rainbow float that you enjoy it as much as we did making it and drinking it. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day.
I mixed the sprinkles in.
There you go.